We're in a very privileged position where we know a hell of a lot about individual businesses and what's happening with them, both from a business perspective, but personally as well. We know their family history and we know what their kids are up to. All of that. So we're like I said, very privileged.
It is a privileged seat at the table for sure. Yeah. What are you seeing with the general results? So you operate mainly through the central wheat belt area. So the north is varied. Talking to Cam today, it's up and down in terms of results and profits. Finding similar.
Yeah. So I think, I suppose my client base is Kwinana Port Zone, if you look at it that way, and those in the north, probably that Barley would be the top end of that location-wise, and through there's parts that probably missed out on the rainfall. Yeah. So it
bit hit and miss at the end.
The end. So really came down to management. So the really good operators did okay. They were nothing extraordinary, but they made a little bit out of the year and went forward. Whereas if you move further south, through the Corrigan, Coolin, Condit and that part of the world, really, really positive results. Yeah. High incomes, high costs at the same time. So, but certainly the incomes helped with that and some strong financial results.
Yeah, we are seeing that a bit more, aren't we, in these years? Obviously last year was a bit of a downer versus the 21 and 22, but we're seeing those that are investing and knowing that they're putting the right foot forward to actually get the income are actually reaching the income, aren't they? So that's the scale of income in the business which is actually driving that profitability, not necessarily scale in size, but they're doing everything they can to get that extra income out of the square hectare pretty much, or the hectare that they're operating. So I think that's what I've been finding, is that those that are really nailing that income line, the operating profits are dropping out, which is covering the overhead costs. And as we know, obviously the finance is probably the biggest one, isn't it? It's just a real challenge at the moment for higher debt businesses, is you have to have that operating profit, which is driven by income, to actually pay for those overheads. So it's a really interesting time at the minute, particularly businesses might have leased land for quite a long time and then bought. We're leasing land at maybe 2 or 3% of land value, and now paying 6.5% on interest. So big number, a big difference with no extra area.
That's correct.
Challenging. What about the meetings themselves and preparation? How have you found client files and our preparation? It's a big difference, isn't it, between good and bad?
Client, very much so. So, and I've had that this week. I've had, if I think through, a couple of really, really good files in terms of the preparation and the quality of detail in the codes they use are fantastic, which just saves so much time. You're not having to dig through the data to try and find the answer, which is great. And what that means is you can actually spend more time on bigger picture, long-term goals, visions, strategy, all that stuff, rather than
did I sell nitty-gritty
25 sheep or 35 sheep? That sort of stuff that's not relevant. It's the bigger picture stuff is more important.
And you would see that too, Zara, when you're preparing a lot of the files?
We've got awesome 5 new grads came in and they've hit the ground running, and as you said, high quality, chasing up those sheep. It's always good fun trying to make sure the livestock numbers are right. But they're doing a really good job, and best bunch we've had in a long time.
So these are all undergrad studying agribusiness or ag science of some description?
All in some realm. So all of them still at uni, some in their first year. Some are returners, so they did it for us last year. So one of our grads, I started at the same time as her, and we're going through it together. It's really cool. Good. It's...
That 1 year of experience makes a difference, doesn't it, in knowing what to do in the file, and because not all of the undergrads we get in have farming experience, do they? So CBH to us, for example, is second nature, whereas someone's never heard of it before, but them to learn that and develop a skill in how to find different things in a file, it's really important, isn't it?
And the tool we use is such a complex thing. They've managed to pick it up and just roll with it, and then it's also an asset to the clients as well for getting their data prepared as well. So they're making our job so easy. So thank you very much, client, for organising your clients, because they are superb, and it just makes it all smooth throughout the whole process. So at the end of the day, you guys can have a nice smooth review. It's really good.
And it is important for the consultant to be organised too, isn't it? That whether they've done a pre-budget, letting you guys know about it, so it's not doubled up. But also, I think it's good to have a well-prepared file from you guys, the support team. But then if the consultant's not putting the time into getting prepared, so that's an area that we've pretty focused on a fair bit, and we like making sure that we're prepared before the meeting, like you say, so you're not finding nitty-gritty things and actually talking bigger picture.
You know the answers that are you need to have the answers, but they're not the important parts about what the day's about.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. Yeah.
How much time would you spend on file prep personally? I mean, obviously the grads do a lot of the grunt work to get the file to a point.
I've found this year they've been terrific actually, and I think that's a bit of clients that also providing a bit more detail. But yeah, I would say now at least 2.5 hours before a meeting.
Yep.
So it might be not necessarily the morning of, but hopefully try not to do too much of that. So if there's a problem or anything like that. But yeah, I would say 2.5 for most.
Yep.
Some tough ones that have got just tough issues in the business. It's actually more preparation about how the discussion goes through the day. So it's not necessarily just all about the data. Sometimes about how the meeting's going to run as well. That you put some time into. So the challenges sometimes also the afterwards. Preparing the report, which we put a lot of effort into, don't we? So that can take a bit of time too. Hopefully not waiting too long for banks or accountants to get back to you with certain detail. So and again, that's part of the preparation. If you're waiting for tax estimates, probably should be something done before the meeting to actually make sure that you've got some idea of what should go in the budget. So,
yeah, and that's happening a little bit. I've noticed that this year there's more clients have actually come with their tax numbers
terrific.
ready to go. So.
Yeah. So then you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
Client leaves, we get the report out pretty quickly. We obviously have that internal target, don't we, Tyson, of 10 business days.
We're on track so far. That's only early days.
It is early days, but it's always great to have something out and done by 24 hours or 48 hours. But it's not always possible either. So
in the perfect world, you have a really smooth review day with the client. You're done at a reasonable time, and you can actually spend a couple of hours post tidying up, getting the report done. Because I find it takes 3 times as long if you have to come back a week later, because you have to almost start from scratch, understanding who's this, what are they doing, and
where did I get to in the file? What have I done? What haven't I done?
Whereas if it's fresh in your mind, you just
it's the
away you
ultimate.
go.